Hello and welcome to Will Watches. This is Vinland Saga episode 8. So I don't know if it will happen on this episode, but Askeladd has accepted the duel with Thorfinn, so I'm very excited for that. If it does happen this episode, I'll be super hyped, but if not, that's okay. It seems like there might be a bit of time in between, and I do wonder how this fight will go. I do think potentially Thorfinn might lose, and obviously not die, but then have to re-challenge again. And even if Thorfinn does win, I feel like he won't actually kill Askeladd, or the revelation that Floki was really behind it all will come to light here. So before we jump into this, be sure to check out the Patreon page. Over there you can find 1 week early access, so you can get episode 9 and 10 right now. You can also find polls, so you can vote for what's next, and you can find a full-length timer-based version of this where you just sync up real footage and you can watch along with me. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Oh, here they are. This looks less winterish. We're not already... Oh, so these people know who Askeladd is. This isn't already spring, is it? Or is it just a warmer place? Oh, this is actually their home. So they do stop off at some points, maybe for winter. Old man Gorm, so is there someone higher up? Yeah, they're all looking for a relaxing winter, but maybe it won't be. So they do actually have somewhere more permanent to stay. That's interesting. Okay, yeah, it's just like Thorfinn's village as well. Some younger kids wanting to join in. Too big for their boots, yeah. He does remind me of Ari a bit. And I do wonder, you know, what's going on with Ari and Leif at the moment. We haven't caught up with them for a while. Oh, it's all for Askeladd. I was wondering who it was for. See, do they just like him for his wealth? But he is very charismatic as well. So there is like, yeah, they are supporting a family, supporting this village and stuff. She was just, what, zoning out or what? Okay. Oh, it's because she doesn't understand the language. Yeah, the duel, so maybe it will happen now. And you can always manipulate people. No, he hasn't seen him fight. Yeah, richer and stronger. I was thinking, you know, were the people fangirling over Thorfinn? Is Thorfinn going into this with any thought? You know, has he been studying Askeladd's battle style or things? Yeah, he's still saying, being so breezy with it. Yeah, it's that strength. Look how far it pushed him back. That was quite a big wide swing though. Yeah, he's impressed a bit. Oh, that was Askeladd dropping the sword. I thought that was Thorfinn like dropping one into the other hand or something. Askeladd tried to grab the dagger off him. Okay. He knows the dagger's sentimental as well. You could play into that a bit, get into his head. Yeah, he's pretending. He knows who it is. Yeah, this is all just a tactic. It was more Bjorn who used him, yeah.
ガキの命と引き換えに剣を捨てたあのバカだ。
Yeah, look, he's doing this on purpose, getting him all raged up. And that's what makes him sloppy. That dagger's still within reach, though.
羊の胸肉食いてえな。香草焼きで。
Yeah, that was over really quick, actually. Thorfinn still has to learn his lesson. That definitely wasn't the heroic moment he was after, the vengeful moment he was after.
もう受けたぜ。トルフィンが変わりたくねえとさ。ああ、負けるといじけ。
Oh, okay, yeah. He doesn't want to socialize with the rest, of course.
あそこが落ち着くんだろう。もともとはあいつの親父の船だからな。
Yeah, yeah, of course it was. I forgot about that. They took one of the ships. This girl again. Is she just malnourished?
金の奴隷が無知持って金で買った奴隷に囚人面してやがん。
He's a slave to money. Yeah. I was wondering, you know, when I saw that
何かの奴隷だ。
everyone's a slave to something. Good old Kenny Ackerman. But when I saw her before, I was thinking, like, we don't know what's happened to the town where Thorfinn is from. What if suddenly he sees a slave and it's Ylva or someone he knows, you know?
父上。
And he's a kid again. He's so cute and innocent.
どう言えばいいのか。自分の力で気づくしかないのかもな。
Yeah, Thor's had to come to the realization on his own when he had kids.
本当の戦士には剣など。
Oh, it was her. Yeah, she was just being nice, bringing him some food. Yeah, she's actually safe out here a little bit. She doesn't want to go back.
そうなの？でもなんだか君、私と同じって感じが。
I mean, he's a slave to his revenge.
海の彼方まで逃げ切ったら、そこには何があるのかし、何もないわね。
There's nothing out there left out there for her, yeah.
戦と奴隷商人がいるだけ。
Vinland exists, somewhere hopeful to aim for. It's not all just slaves and war.
ヴィンランドという名の土地がある。そこは暖かく豊かで。
I mean, we know that's not really the case in the future, but yeah, he does give them hope here. It's nice that he's actually giving her hope, something to look for. Oh, summer. We starting the war in England.
加えて我らヨウム戦士団4個大隊。
Job's Vikings here as well.
この旅の大攻勢にあたり、万事滞りなく。
Floki's looking old, isn't he?
尽力する次第であります。
Oh, look at him, all warted.
兄のハラルドに劣らぬ武君の機会を与えねばな。
しかし、恐れながら殿下はまだ戦場でのご経験も。
Okay, so Harold is his brother.
2013年8月、スベン大王率いるデンマークバイキング主力艦隊はイングランド北部のハンバー川より進
The River Humber, okay. So all the way, they waited all the way till August.
だが、このまま続くと思われた海進
Go down to Bristol.
一時停滞する。
Trying to get into London, okay, yeah. I'm surprised they waited so late. It's already October again. Oh, Thor Care, what his name was, wasn't it? Oh, wow. They're really hyping up the next arc, aren't they? All these future characters. Okay, so that was Vinland Saga episode 8. So I was corrected from my last episode actually that there is somewhere for the Vikings to go, for Askeladd's men to go. They do have this hometown and they have, you know, wives and children there to look after, and this Lord Gorm, who's really just like the financials guy. He just makes sure everyone, you know, there's enough money for everyone. Because I was wondering that, you know, what is the life of a Viking really? You get all of this money and then you just waste it all away on booze and food and drugs and things, you know. But they do actually have kind of somewhere to support and like a home base for parts of the year, you know, for the winter. But of course it's not too peaceful there, because Thorfinn and Askeladd do finally have their duel, and as I expected actually, Thorfinn loses. He just lets his emotion and his pride take over him, just as Askeladd said. You know, he puts on this front of not remembering Thor's, but he 100% did. It was all just to get in his head, and that proves that Thorfinn is just, you know, so focused on his revenge. He can't see past that, and that is kind of his biggest weakness. There's this other character here in the hometown who reminds me just so much of Ari. There's like a lot of similarities between Thorfinn's hometown and here, where you have this character who's like all about war. He wants to go out to war, he wants to join them just like Ari did, and he doesn't really know the truth of it. And we see how like eager he is to get in a fight with Thorfinn when he doesn't really know Thorfinn's capability. Thorfinn would have just annihilated him truly, wouldn't he? The actual duel itself didn't last as long as I was expecting. You know, they've been hyping it up for a while. This doesn't feel like the actual duel. You know, there wasn't much hype before it. So it feels like we will get another duel later on that's more of like the proper duel once Thorfinn gets over himself a little bit. And, you know, we still haven't had that Floki reveal. I don't know what's going on there, why Askeladd hasn't told him that yet. But we see, you know, Askeladd, he likes being tricky, pulling little tricks, how he dropped his sword and was getting in his head. It's a really cool kind of fighting style that he has. And then Thorfinn's fighting style, he likes to get up close with his daggers, but he does still have the range when he throws them. In a one-on-one fight, the throwing probably wouldn't be that great, because it's probably better to catch people by surprise, like he has caught Askeladd by surprise a few times before. But it's mainly close up in this type of context. And, you know, we had this moment where Askeladd takes this big swing and it like knocks Thorfinn back so far. Obviously Thorfinn jumped back a bit there as well, but I thought it was like a recreation of him doing this big swing, and then it gives Thorfinn the chance to get in close, but that wasn't quite the case. Thorfinn doesn't have that kind of clarity and that battle experience yet, really. Although he is strong, he just lets his emotion get the better of him here. Then Askeladd gives the line, "We're all a slave to something," very much the same. It basically was the same thing Kenny Ackerman says in Attack on Titan, and I do think they both give off the same vibes, the kind of very breezy, fun-loving personality, but also can be serious and also are very experienced in battle, you know. I can definitely see the similarities, and I don't know, voice actor wise, if there's any crossover there. I don't know if they're the same voice actor, but I could imagine it really. It could easily be the same voice actor, but I have no idea there. I do wonder if there's any crossover, because it is weird. I don't know how much kind of the studio that animates and then the voice actors, if there's like any connections there, if you know what I mean. Like, does Studio Wit have regular voice actors that they constantly work with, or is it like a completely separate process in the production cycle of choosing the voice actors and choosing the animation studio? Is that more what the production team does? But anyway, yeah, he's super right to that. There's always something you're a slave to. At the moment, Thorfinn is a slave to his vengeance, and we see Lord Gorm as well. He is a slave to his money, although I feel like part of that is justified. You know, he's probably the only like older man there on that island, in that town, and he needs to protect all of the people. That's his responsibility, really. So this slave, Hordaland, she, you know, they made this comment like, stop acting like nobility, and from what they were saying, she was like related to a lord in Norway or something. So that's very interesting. I don't know if, you know, with her, are people going to be coming after her because she's related to this Nord? Obviously she's like very pretty and gorgeous, she's had this life of nobility. will that, you know, if she was betrothed to someone, will they be coming along, or will they be after her, or was she like given as a slave, you know, or was she like kidnapped? I'm really curious there. It feels like there might be a bigger plot point around her, you know, like someone coming to try and rescue her. Again, this cycle of violence and cycle of revenge. We had this really touching scene with Thorfinn, and then, you know, he's seeing Thors and he's back as a kid again. Baby Thorfinn was so cute in the early episodes. It's a shame we've lost all of that now, and he is just like this grizzled man, this teenager, really, like edgy teenage years. We didn't actually get an answer on how old he was from Askeladd when they talked during their duel though, but it was again Thors talking to him, repeating the same line, like, you have no enemies. And Askeladd really truly isn't his enemy here. It's mainly Floki. The true enemy is war and violence, because that's what's caused all of this, right? But he reminds him of that, but then also says, you know, there's no way I can convince you. And I wonder what was going on in that scene. That's all in Thorfinn's head, obviously, but when you have like a moment like that, that's like in a character's head and he's seeing a vision of someone, the person he's seeing is only, they can only have information that that character knows, you know? They can only have information that that character knows. So of course, Thors repeats the line, you have no enemies, but that's kind of like Thorfinn's way of digesting that line a bit more, perhaps. But then he himself also interprets that there's no turning back, because Thors said there's no convincing you, you know? But I feel like if the actual Thors was actually there, maybe there would have been some way he could convince him eventually. Or will we just have to learn by his own hands the same way that Thors did? Because we saw Thors was a warrior, he was a Jomsviking before, and it was really only the birth of Ylva that kind of mellowed him out and softened him a bit, you could say. So maybe there will be some turning point for Thorfinn, if that's starting a family and realizing he doesn't want to live a life of revenge again, or like finding a love interest. If Hordaland could be a love interest for him, I did kind of think that when they met. If there's something there to soften him, you know? And then right at the end of the episode, we get some teases to upcoming events, something to get hyped about. We're seeing Thorkel back finally. We saw him right at the start of episode 1 and we haven't seen him since, and he is there attacking London. Obviously this is a very old London. This is, you know, this is like 1,000 years ago. I don't know if London Bridge was even there. There was like this little dam, this wooden bridge. Was that the only bridge there? Tower Bridge definitely wasn't built at that time. And like how much wealth was actually in London at that point? Was it even the capital? Because Chelmsford was initially the capital of England. I'm not sure the exact date that they swap over. And you know, I'm using my knowledge of England as well a bit here. It's cool it being in England. And they went in through the River Humber again, which is really interesting. So I'm guessing the River Humber up by Hull and Grimsby, that is like a really easy access point for some reason into the country. Maybe it's just not very well fortified, or it goes quite deep into the country, but then they're going from there, kind of going down. They kind of went around London and attacked from the underside, went around by Bristol and back up, it looked like on the map. But then there was also this red arrow coming in through the Thames as well, so I don't know if that was also the Vikings coming in, or if that was another force and there's like a freeway battle going on here. Not quite sure there, but it is really cool being able to, you know, use the geography knowledge to your advantage here. Although there's not much that I actually gain from knowing the geography of England. It's just fun to see, I guess. And then we also get teased this new, I'm guessing that he's a prince, not a king yet, but the brother of Harold and the son of Sweyn, Canute, I believe you say it. And, you know, we see him, he's got this gorgeous long hair, very feminine features, the long eyelashes, you know. You could easily mistake him for a girl, and I did assume he was a girl, seeing him before, like in the openings and things. But he is, you know, heir to the throne, but he hasn't really got anything yet, I assume. So this seems like almost like Thorfinn, mirroring Thorfinn a bit. He is going to be trying to prove himself to his father and maybe to his brother. And this also confirms that Sweyn is actually father of Harold, which makes sense. You know, all of the kings in the area, they were all related somehow. It was all cousins and brothers and things like that. you know, some of the wars are even egos between rivalries between brothers like that, between siblings. I do wonder if maybe that could be something that happens, that Canute and Harold actually go up against each other even though they are brothers. They both want the land and want to spread an empire and show strength, that kind of thing. They could even go up against each other or betray their dad to become king, of course. And Harold is actually already a king, but, you know, they all want to conquest and grow more power, don't they? So that's some cool insight into the family dynamic and some teasing of what I'm assuming Canute is gonna be like, maybe a villain, like a big villain here. That's the kind of vibe I'm guessing from it. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, consider leaving a like or a comment, and if you really loved it, be sure to subscribe so you can keep up to date on all the future uploads. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye.